Cameron Rowston back on the show, back in the cage this week, well, this Friday evening at Shuriken Fight Series, light heavyweight title fight for you against Pane Haraki. First of all, man, it's been a little while since you've had an MMA fight. How's the body feeling, and how excited are you about this one?
Well, the body's feeling good. It's feeling ready. It's feeling like it's ready to peak for Friday. But yeah, other than that, like I'm feeling very confident for this one. I put in a really good training camp. Trained alongside a lot of the other guys in the card as well, like Kevin and Navajo. So it's been real good having those guys in there, having the bodies every day just to get some hard training in. So I'm more than ready.
What does that do for the energy coming into a fight week? Obviously, fight camp can be quite long, and I imagine it can be quite tedious after a little while to basically just be doing what you have to do to get there on the night.
It's just like it just makes everything I wouldn't say easier, but it just makes it more fun. Like you turn up to the session, you know you're gonna have a little bit of banter with the boys. If you've had a hard session the day before, or if you're going into a hard session, it's like you don't feel sorry for yourself. You know, there's no sympathy for yourself. It's like, well, fuck, like he's got to do it. He's got to do it as well. He's tired. I'm tired. Like, fuck, what do I got to complain about?
Fair enough. Light heavyweight. I know there's a little bit of I guess hard time finding light heavyweight fights for a lot of the guys in Auckland, well, New Zealand in general, and even in Australia. Like, that's a really interesting division at the moment at this end of the world. Is that where you see yourself sort of going forward?
To be honest, probably not. I see myself making a move back down to 84. This was the fight that we could get and lock in. That was a definite, and it would just so happen to be at light heavyweight, so we just jumped at the opportunity. But I think maybe the next few fights I'd probably see myself dropping back down to middleweight.
Fair enough. I guess with this one, sort of how do you plan around that, knowing that you're taking the fight at light heavyweight because it's what was there when you're probably not going to stay there? Does anything change in terms of how you approach this one, knowing that you're probably going back down next time?
No, nothing changes. There's no secret like method to bulking up or getting stronger. Everything stays the same. I generally just try to train with the bigger guys, so get more rounds in with Sterling, get more rounds in with like Carlos Ulberg, and we got Henry from Tahiti here as well. He's a big boy at the moment, so try to get rounds in with the bigger guys, get used to lifting the heavier bodies and stuff. But like, I'm not trying to like bulk up and then cut down or anything.
We hear you referred to all over the place now as the Battle Giraffe. First of all, is that a nickname you particularly like?
Oh, it's grown on me. At first, when I got called it, I was like, oh, it's insulting. Like the giraffe is a bit of an uncoordinated, goofy-looking animal. But then I'm like, it's pretty funny now. Like, there's some T-shirts in the works coming out, and there's some pretty cool designs that Mark Timms did up. But no, it's grown on me. I don't mind it.
That was my next thing. Is it something that you're going to run with now? Just is that going to be your official nickname moving forward?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be official, but I'm definitely going to run with it. I'm going to try and do a little bit of a merch drop with the Battle Giraffe because I think the logo is really cool. But there's a lot of play on stuff we can do with it with the Battle Giraffe, so I'll run with it for now.
Fair enough, man. This weekend's Shuriken card is very stacked in terms of talent on it. One of the most stacked cards we've seen in New Zealand for a little while now. Can you just talk to the other fighters on the card and kind of who people should be looking out for?
Well, yeah, there's obviously myself and Pane are fighting. Then the main event is Sterling and his rematch in Corwell. When they had not rematch in MMA, but they had a kickboxing fight previously on King of the Ring. There's obviously Kevin Jusay's fighting Eli, who I fought from. Eli's from King's Academy. That'll be a good fight as well. And they've got Brad Ramsey's fighting Shem Murdoch. So I think those are the 4 pro fights. There might be one other, I'm not too sure. But then there's a heap of other amateur fights like before that, and I think the level of amateur fights in the last like 3 or 4 years since I've been watching them in New Zealand and Australia has gotten so high as well. So we might even see like some of the amateur fights being more entertaining than the professional fights, or like the finishes being even more exciting. Like I think Jason Vorst has just done a really good job of matching this card, and yeah, if you can't get along to it live, I'd definitely be trying to watch it for sure.
Absolutely, man. And I guess, like you mentioned, the level of the amateurs these days is getting very, very good. What do you reckon is behind that?
I maybe just the like the prevalence of the sport. Like it's in like more the mainstream media now. This isn't a knock on anyone who used to do MMA like 5, 10 years ago, but I think the type of person getting into MMA now is just generally it's attracting more athletic people, and obviously like there's the coaching as well, but you're just getting like guys who are coming from other sports, maybe like rugby or I don't know, say soccer, or just just people who have had an extensive background in sport and know how to like move their body and all that stuff. And I think that's helping along with the high level coaching. And so you just get like a good athlete and a good coach together, and you just get like a really, really good fighter. Whereas like 5, 10 years ago, maybe you did get a super good athlete. Maybe the coaching wasn't the best, or you got a really good coach, but the athlete wasn't the best. And it just like, yeah, it just didn't gel too well.
Makes sense. For yourself, I mean, things are starting to pick back up now. Both sides of the Tasman, plenty of cards going down. Sort of what are you looking to do in the next couple of years? Like, what are your sort of short term goals in the sport?
Short term goals. Well, before the year is done, after I fight this weekend, I definitely want to get another fight in. Hopefully, get back down to 84. Excuse me. Whether that be in like Australia, or whether that be here in New Zealand, or wherever it be in the world, like I want to get another fight in. And then next year I want to get some more fights in the 84. You know, Eternal's starting to pick up. They're taking a lot of guys from CKB. Their middleweight champ just had a fight over the weekend and he won. So I want to get on there and get a few fights in at middleweight, maybe on Eternal, and yeah, push for the UFC towards the later half of next year. So get a few fights under my belt the first half and the end of this year, and then push for the UFC next year.
Is that sort of a plan that you've talked to Eugene about, and something that you guys are working towards as a team, or like how do you approach that with the team coming into it?
He holds his cards like pretty close to his chest, but he also just like takes opportunities as they come and just will like tell you on like 24 hours notice. Or I don't say 24 hours, but like pretty short notice. But no, I haven't really spoken to him about it. But that's just how I see myself doing it. If I can average, 3 fights between now and maybe like August next year or July next year, and win all three, like I make a very good case for the UFC. Like I don't see why I shouldn't be able to get in.
I guess that all starts on Friday night, getting this win against Pane. What do you make of him as an opponent, and where do you see yourself having strengths in this fight?
He's I'd say his top two assets would be just his durability and his experience. He's had a few fights, a lot in boxing and kickboxing, so he can definitely take a punch and take a kick. And he obviously knows how to take a punch. He obviously knows how to give a kick and like give a punch as well. So I didn't overlook him. I made sure I trained hard. I didn't I'm not underestimating him, but I just yeah, I feel like anywhere it goes, I can kind of best him. Ground, wrestling, cage work, standing, wherever.
Excellent, man. I just got a couple of questions coming on the Instagram for you. One from Heavyweight MMA wants to know what your favorite weapon is when you're in a fight.
Like a street fight?
Well, I'm assuming it's just what your favorite, I don't know, like strike or choke is in a
Okay.
fight where you're actually fighting. Yeah, we're talking MMA, but if you want to take it and go street fighting or literally anything.
I'll give in MMA, favorite weapon or rear naked choke. Can't put it past a good rear naked choke. If you lock it in, it's game over. In a street fight, favorite weapon, probably my running shoes, because you never know how it's going to end. You could get bottled. He could have another mate in the car. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're not getting paid for it.
Yeah, fair. Josh Kulabel wants to know why you're so handsome, and I kind of want to know like what's the relationship between you and Josh, because I know you helped him work ahead of the Jalen Turner fight.
Well, I think I got to thank my mum for the good looks. Not my dad. His hairline is like back here, so I got to thank my mum for the good looks. My relationship with Josh. We're both Sydney boys. We both used to fight on MMA cards when we were amateurs, like quite early on. I think 2015, we both started like fighting on the same MMA cards. I knew about his gym, Eagle MMA, like quite early. I think I knew about that before I even started training at my own gym. I was like, oh yeah, like you Google MMA gyms in Sydney, and Eagle is one of the first ones to come up. So yeah, just kind of knowing Josh around the circuit, and then as I kept going and he kept going, we got pro. We both went pro, and like we're always fighting on the same cards, or like we're around the same fight shows with each other. So yeah, and then we just kind of hit it off. We're like pretty good friends. Stay in touch.
Sweet, man. Well, I'll let you get back to your day. Thank you very much for the time and good skill for the weekend. Or Friday night. Not really the weekend, but kind of the weekend.
Kind of the weekend, yeah, early weekend.